We sail triangular shaped courses. We'll start with the bottom mark because that's the one everyone loves the most. Bottom mark rounding. If I start tight and I slam my rudder over, I can do a J-turn, but I have no speed at the end. At which point, any boat that's come wider than me is just going to sail clean around me. So there's no point in doing that. If we're going to practice these gentler turns, which you need to practice, if I start tight and I do a gentler turn, I'm going to finish wide of the buoy. Now that's distance I've now got to sail back upwind that I've now lost. So the bottom mark, from that, you can see it's pretty obvious that if I want a good bottom mark rounding, I actually want to start wide and finish really close to the buoy. So my thought with a bottom mark rounding is gentle turn, keep as much speed as possible going onto the beat, and just as my two sails sheet on to tight, I want that buoy to be right behind my back as close as possible without hitting it. That's the skipper's back. Anything past that and I'm wide. A boat can shoot in there, all sorts of things can happen. So my first hint is to keep the speed up, is start at the bottom mark, start wide, finish close. Now for the bottom mark I start wide, at top mark I actually want to enter close and I will finish wide. Otherwise, what have I done? I've sailed extra distance that I didn't need to sail. Tactically, however, that might change, but in most cases at the top mark it's start wide, start close, finish wide. So there's two simple rules to remember. The wing mark's a different story. The wing mark comes down to this, all of the marks come down to this, but the wing mark comes down to position, position, position. If I'm on my own, I'm going to start wide and finish a little bit wide on a wing mark if there's no one around. But if I've got boats behind me and I want to go high on this reach, I'm going to start wide and finish close. If I want to go low on this reach, I'm going to start close and finish wide. It's a tactical decision at the wing mark. It's a decision in relation to the boats around you and what you're trying to achieve on the reach. So that one's a little bit trickier. But at the moment, think about that. Next one. I'm talking about position. Bottom mark rounding. We see it all the time. One boat, two boats, three boats, four boats, five boats, up to 10 boats going around the buoy side by side by side. Going 10 boats wide around that mark, that's a lot of distance that I've lost that I now need to resail upwind. So when I'm talking about position, you may be coming down this reach, and halfway down that reach, you may start worrying about position at the buoy rounding. You may start thinking about, well, I need to get up and I need to get inside somebody. Or I may need to actually slow my boat down a little bit, and if I'm this boat here, drop back and enter in closer. So when I'm talking about position, I'm worried about the boats around me and what I'm trying to achieve on the exit of the mark. I've got not a problem slowing myself down entering a mark if it's going to advantage me on the exit. And you've always got to think about the exit of the mark. The exit of the mark, you're worrying about the speed you're exiting the mark with, and you're worrying about the position in relation to the other boats around you that you're exiting the mark with. Now in our answers, we definitely have boats that are faster and slower, as we all know by different hull types. If you're in a one design class, you may be worrying about the position of this mark all the way back up here. And you may be positioning yourself that early to get the inside rounding or to get into a certain position so that when you exit that bottom mark, you're where you want to be. So with mark roundings, my hints to you are keep your speed up. Keep it up, especially the lighter it is, the more speed you need to keep up. Number two, position yourself in relation to the other boats around you early and communicate with them early. Hope that answers people's questions on mark roundings.